Ovyo.
Speaking of Chebukati.
Yeah.
Not Cherara. Unasema?
Cherera 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of Chebukati.
Yes. Chebukati has rested. From what we gather, the family said he had a brain tumor. They said he had been taken ill for a long time. Unajua shida ya Kenya huwa wanaua mtu mara mingi kabla akufe. Most of the people who've rested, I mean, remember when Emilio rested, Mwai Kibaki, people had killed him so many times before his death. I don't know why Kenyans are so eager to be bearers of bad news. Rest in peace, I don't know. Kwani mtu analipo akikuwa yeye ndio bearer wa bad news.
Everyone wants to break the news.
Nobody wants to break good news. They are very eager to break bad news.
Because bad news sells.
We lost Chebukati. May he rest in peace. I mean, I feel for the family because either way, whether you like him or not, he has somebody who calls him a father, he has somebody who calls him an uncle, a brother, and so on and so forth. So to the family, I think, take our sincere condolences. Kenyans have different opinions about you. I remember where Eugene Wamalwa went to a function and he said, tuko na matanga, lafu tuko na matanga ingine, and you know what Kenyans told him.
Those are Kenyans. They will always tell you what they think, and see kama Uganda where you are restricted and you'll be sought any time for speaking such things.
Yeah.
So I think that has given them an edge. They will speak whatever they want to speak. But again, like Fanyamambo says, when someone has rested, I think it is the wrong time to choose to go the direction most Kenyans have chosen to go. The negative energy and the dark humor. Meza makasiriko yako alafu
But mi kuna mmoja akikufa nita celebrate.
Nani?
Sitamtaja.
Nani?
Huyo akikufa ile siku atakufa.
Mtaje.
I'm a teetotal, I don't take alcohol. Lakini hiyo siku nitakunywa pombe. Mniambie ni gani nzuri. Hiyo siku nitakunywa pombe. And I'll look for weed cookies.
Mtaje.
Weed cookies.
Yes, I'll look.
You need to be high.
You know why I'm saying that? Kwa nini sitamtaja? There was an attorney general who once said that it is wrong to imagine the death of, yes, that one. So a time will come when I will celebrate the death of somebody in this life.
But when you see people having rested and then a portion of the society want to celebrate.
I'll tell you why people celebrate.
Tell me.
If you're a person who's been causing death, if you're a person who's been directly involved in the death and disappearance of other Kenyans, if you're a person who has shown no compassion for those families that have lost their loved ones, if you're a person who's been put in a position of authority to protect lives, yet you create the disappearance of lives and you cause human suffering and death, then people will celebrate when you die because you've been celebrating when their children are dead. It is that simple. You've been peeing on the graves of those who are dead. So why will people not come and spit on your grave? So there are people who in this country, because of what they have done, because they have brought death and tears to families of Kenyans must celebrate their own death. If you are one of those people who knows that you have been involved in creating death and causing disappearance of people's children and shooting people from the roofs of parliament and sanctioning such kind of nonsense, I promise you Kenyans will celebrate when you die.
But that kind of celebration is not, you see, there's different kinds of death celebration. There are people that you lose your kin and you don't cry as much. You escort them to their resting place, enjoy having lived a good life. So you don't find it as a loss, but you say like, we are celebrating his life or their life on earth. But now the kind of celebration that we're talking about is like, I wish it had happened earlier.
But you know what? We celebrated more when he died.
Yes.
What kind of celebration? What kind of celebration?
What do you mean?
Like, did we appreciate him having served us as president? Or did we say, finally?
A section of Kenyans celebrated that he served the country.
And whoever the chairperson is going to be, that's going to be it.
I'll only tell you one thing. It's not going to be a Kikuyu. It's one seat that has never been held by a Kikuyu. And
Fanyamambo, why would you say that?
Because I'll tell you.
Why would you say that?
There are two tribes that involve a lot of emotions when it comes to elections. The Kikuyu and the Luo. I don't think one of them will ever occupy the IBC commissioner's seat.
Why not?
My IBC chairperson seat. Because this country is very tribal. We'll start seeing as if now if you put a Kikuyu there or a Luo there, especially those two communities, we'll start seeing as if this person will determine the election based on the tribe. Because again, those are two communities that have always had someone on the presidential ballot every year coming in. So there's a very high likelihood the IBC commissioner will never be a Kikuyu, a Luo, or even a Kalenjin. So if you have applied and you are one of those three, just want to inform you that there's very little chance that
You will
get that seat. Yeah.
You're diminishing their hopes and prospects.
No, I'm just telling them the truth.
And Fanyamambo, why is it that this seat for the chairmanship of the IEBC, most of the people who occupy, it's always felt like they don't end up like happy eventually, and they suffer after it.
When you hear, and you saw like last elections, 200 funny polling stations that never existed, a school with a gate but has got no classrooms and has declared results, and you are the IBC chairman and you are comfortable releasing those results. Ballots carry with them a lot of emotion. They carry with them a lot of hope from people. They carry with them a lot of aspirations from people.
Yeah.
And so when you come and mess around with that, I mean, I think the curses of people always follow you. They even follow you past your grave. I think you always have nightmares even when you're dead.
And sins of the fathers.
Yes, I think, I think it's one seat that if you occupy, you truly must be a person of integrity. And you must get to a place where you say, no, I'm not going to announce elections that are fake. I'm not going to announce election results that are not true. I'm not going to be used as a conduit for the propagation of bad governance. The problem is we have people who don't care as long as there's money involved. Also, the procurement processes at IBC are almost not so well thought of. I mean, they are never asked questions. Why are you printing ballot papers from the UK, for example, or from Argurair, or from all sorts of companies that we saw? So it's one place where also a lot of taxpayers' money goes to the drain. And this taxpayers' money comes with a lot of sweat and pain. So I think anybody who wants to be IBC commissioners or even the chairperson needs to know that it carries with it a very heavy burden.
Okay. Guys, what's happening in Turkana?
I want to stand with those that imagine it is a mismanaged security matter. It is a mismanaged security matter.
But Ethiopians are involved in this. Come on, guys.
It is a border. You know. On a border, it is unlikely that you will fight with yourself. You will have to involve the neighbor, even if it is in dealing or helping to sort out whatever it is that is the conflict.
Yes.
Is under conflict, but the neighbor has to be involved. So I want to believe it is a mismanaged security matter on that border. If there's anything else, then we need to find out what exactly is happening there.
Ethiopia is the last country you want to start having problems with at your border. That's all. Those guys they have such a huge army. They have invested so much in their army.
They've been fighting for many years.
Yeah. You remember they were never colonized.
Just whatever you do, please
Don't mess with them.
don't mess with them. And you know, Kenya is not doing very well diplomatically. I thank God for what they have done with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. The United Nations has looked and seen that the only person who's got common sense in this whole, the person who understands global politics and person who understands peace and border transactions is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. You're not even our foreign affairs minister. You know, there was a time when governments would look and say, who is your foreign affairs? Yes, by that as Kumbuki ni nani. But they would see somebody like Kalonzo. They would see somebody who's got diplomatic skills. And that person would be used. But when they get to the place, they say, no, the only person we can trust this is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And they take him back to the DR situation. And now he's going to be used to help resolve so many other conflicts around. The best candidate actually for the AUC chair would have been Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, which he would have won in the morning, by the way, without having to campaign and take 500 people, including MCAs, to dancing in Addis Ababa. But that is water under the bridge. Sasa wako Mombasa huko wana celebrate, sijui wanapanga nini. The next thing is to go into government and to break protocol and to have Raila speak after Kindiki and so on and so forth. But I can tell you for free, this country has ruined its diplomatic status. You know, na sijui, I think wali skip form 2. Unajua mtu akona PhD lakini kuna kitu tulifundishwa form 2. Non-aligned movement. Very simple history.
Yeah.
Na wengine walifanya GSC class 8, wale walifanya mapema kidogo. The non-aligned movement, Kenya simply did not align itself to the west or to the east. They stayed non-aligned. They stayed in the middle. Kama hii kiti mlipoteza AUC, it was the same thing. You come here, you are trying to align yourself with the West on everything, and the West is busy fighting Palestine. All Islamic states obviously will not vote for Kenya. I doubt even Somalia voted for Kenya in the AUC. So Kenya has to find itself and start saying, wait a minute, what is our policy on international affairs? How do we relate with other countries? But this nonsense of trying to hop around and become the blue-eyed boy of the West and so on and so forth is not working well for Kenya. Na hii crisis ya Ethiopia hii, we will need someone with a brain to help us resolve it.
What about RSF? Forming a parallel government.
The argument was
Jana wamekuwa kwa mahoteli wakirukaruka.
The argument of government, they are not taking part in it, but they are offering ground. I think they quoted a lot of treaties, agreements, and all those things that I do not understand. But they are saying, as an arbiter, they are not taking part in any of those, either sides, but they are offering ground for this. Be as it may, you see, for a country that is still healing from the injuries of DRC, I don't think it was the right time to even encourage another activity that would speak to mismanaged diplomatic calculations like these ones that has just happened. For the layman, they do not understand that there are provisions that would allow Kenya to play as the arbiter and offer the grounds for mediation. They imagine Kenya is facilitating. You know, someone would want to argue for them to even have left their homeland to come and sit in Nairobi. They have had a nod from somewhere. Those who don't understand will never understand that there are grounds upon which Kenya defends itself from meddling in the affairs of Sudan. They will say we are arbiters, but people believe that Kenya has taken part in that. Just the optics give Kenya a bad name in light of what has happened in the recent past. And on the Uhuru move, you know, it has given credence to what Kalonzo Musyoka has been saying every other time. You know, Kalonzo has sustained this onslaught on Ruto, that he is the person bungling stability talks in DRC. And he began that by disabling Uhuru Kenyatta when he was in charge of the talks. And now that this one has come, it then gives credit to what Kalonzo has been saying all along, that it was a calculated move to disrupt the talks by disabling Uhuru Kenyatta. Now that this is happening, we want to see if the willingness, because I remember they were accusing the process, saying Nairobi has taken prominence than the talks themselves, you know. Right. We want to see if now the talks will take prominence than Nairobi, as it were.
Fanyamambo.
I think the least they should have done is take it to Addis Ababa, the AUC headquarters, so that it appears like it's more of an African agenda, and that it's being resolved from Addis Ababa. But having that happening here was a bad thing. It's our whole diplomatic policy. We are in a lot of mess. They have, for example, sent our policemen to Haiti. And we saw one who died. He was in the news yesterday. Very sad story. They've taken our policemen to Haiti to go and look for gangsters there. Gangsters who are destabilizing government. But they left hooded gangsters here who are wearing masks, who are bungling people into Subarus and taking them to unknown locations and torturing them and killing some of them and causing the disappearance of them. Where is the police commissioner? We just need to tell you where the gangsters are. The gangsters are in Nairobi, and they are in Subarus, and they are wearing masks, and they are hooded, and they are abducting people. They are not in Haiti. The gangsters are here. So if you are looking for gangsters who have a gangster mentality and are doing gangster things, they are here. They have black Subarus and purple ones and all sorts of things, and they are making life impossible for Kenyans. So that is where we go wrong. We send our forces and our energy into the wrong spaces. I mean, the DRC crisis has been going on for a long time. DRC is our neighbor here. We would have, it is of more strategic interest to have sent troops or even the policemen to keep peace in DRC, because actually they are a
Sudan, for
member
that
of
matter.
the East African community, and we are their chairperson of the East African community, but not places like Haiti. So I think we have a head of state and a republic, a head of government that is not aware of what's supposed to be happening where. And this is where the disaster lies in, Jeff. That I don't know. Why are we in Haiti and there's a problem in Congo, for example? Why are we in Haiti and there's a problem with Ethiopia at our border? We just have our priorities upside down.
Subaru Yamabaru.
Nimekam na imejaa.
You're doing well. You're doing well.
But Jeff, there's something else.
Yes,
There's
yes.
something else. You see, I think I wanted to address the person that is Baba, because I saw him in Mombasa with William Ruto. And they were shaking hands and laughing. I
That's
don't know
where
what they are
protocol
laughing
was
about.
broken.
And that's where protocol was broken. But anyway, I don't care for protocol because Kindiki is not our deputy president.
What is he?
He's the deputy. He's Ruto's deputy. He's not our deputy president. We never voted for. Our constitution envisioned the situations where Kenyans vote for their deputy president together with the president. Huyu ni wa Ruto, huyu si wetu. So ni wake, hata akitaka kumtuma akanunue mandazi, hiyo ni shida yake.
Na wenu ni nani?
For us, as far as we are
Wenu ni
concerned-
nani?
Nani?
Ako kwa mlima.
Sisi, no, let me tell you, because hata mwenye mwingine hatukuwa tumemvote, lakini sahii tunampenda juu anafight William.
The enemy of your enemy
Baba-
He's your friend.
Yes. There are things I wanted to tell Baba. You know, Baba, when the person you wanted to become governor, the person that you are willing to give the ODM ticket is not paying bills. The person that you want to become governor for Nairobi is dumping garbage at Stima Plaza in front of their door. The person that you want to become governor for Nairobi ndio huyo sasa anaitwa Sakaja. Na nilikwambia hii kitu ya teams haitaenda vizuri. Now, that guy is there. But also, Baba, you need to understand, ODM is in a crisis. I think Orengo has bought a brand new dictionary, Macmillan. He's spitting a lot of English, trying to say that he's not interested in this relationship that that ODM is trying to have with Kenya Kwanza. Sifuna is disgruntled. Sifuna is unhappy. He's there, and now some people are trying to speak in a language. Aladwa, by the way, that is the universal sign of losing an election. If you ever see yourself with that guy called Aladwa, amekuja hivi, vile anakujanga, and he's with you, now just know that election is lost and gone. It's one person you shouldn't have close to you. And those are the people who are fighting people like Sifuna, who are progressive and pragmatic, and people who actually you cannot write the future of Kenyan politics with. I know the name like Sifuna in it. So, Baba, your party is messed up. Oh, but your sycophants like Junet are happy. Junet is, he's always happy as long as something is happening. He celebrates everything that happens. And somehow he finds himself into the next parliament. Somehow, every other time.
Somehow.
So, I think someone needs to be very careful. Extremely careful. Na hii alliance ya Baba na Ruto, for the first time I want to fight it.
Kwa nini?
Because wakishikana watatuchagulia IBC. Hiyo IBC ilichaguliwa Mombasa. You 1148 people what were you doing applying? You should have been in Mombasa campaigning and leaking booths and saying
Lobbying.
we are going to and lobbying, because I can tell you IBC was constituted in Mombasa. Hakuna kitu ingine. These people will give us a horrible IBC that meets their needs, and you will see. Utaona for the first time there will be an IBC selected that does not have acrimony between Baba and Raila, and Ruto. So when we get that kind of IBC, what do we do with it? Baba, look at yourself. Now they want to remove the Chief Justice. One of the functions of the Supreme Court, according to our constitution, is the determination of presidential elections. Now we have anarchy, because what they are going to do is they want to have the Supreme Court removed. And I can tell you they don't have interest in reconstituting. Wataanza kucheza mchezo wa paka na panya kama IBC. Make sure that there is no Supreme Court by the time we are going to the elections. So that when people lose that election, then there is no court to determine that they have lost that election. So we are thoroughly afraid, and we are saying we are fighting for the existence, not of Mother Kome. Some of us were not happy when she said wild goose chase. So it's not the person of Mother Kome we like. It's the office of the Chief Justice and the entire Supreme Court bench that we must protect.
Baba, I know he listens to. Have you seen anywhere where he has castigated Sifuna for how he's been running the party? Nowhere.
No.
He has not also equally been hard castigating anyone who has been hitting at Sifuna,
Yeah.
So this is one guy who listens to them, give them an opportunity, and they know that. That is why they were saying that is the democracy in that party. The beauty about that party, that you can speak and later on you come sit, agree and see way forward. But where they are going overboard is where they begin to threaten the ouster of Sifuna. I think that is where they are going overboard. But like I said, Baba is coming back to consolidate his party first. He will not start helping President William Ruto with his UDA and Kenya Kwanza when his own party is almost falling apart.
People like Babu also want to express themselves.
Yeah, and
Sure.
is Raila the only person who can actually
Run ODM.
ODM or even criticize the government as a player in the opposition? Fanyamambo, don't we have other people who can come and actually fill in? Because he can't be there forever.
No.
Age is catching up.
What I have
Energy
said
is losing.
people haven't come in. You remember there was a time when Wamalwa was the to-go person, and there was a big fight between Wamalwa and Baba. All positions of leadership are taken, not given. Even if you want to be leader of opposition, you have to come and fight. And that is what Rigiji is doing. Rigiji right now is more of an opposition leader than Raila Amolo Odinga. And rightfully so, because if Rigiji does command the mountain, then he carries a huge vote, and that makes him leader of official opposition, de facto, not de jure. So I think from where I sit, Rigiji right now is doing what many Kenyans did not do. I mean, look at the person of Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka has supported Baba 3 times, maybe 4 or 5. And each other time he keeps sit there and then he waits. Now, because I've supported Baba, the people of Baba will come to me, wanikute huko Kanthonzweni waniletee kura. He doesn't go for those votes. He doesn't leave his comfort zone. He doesn't campaign. He doesn't ask for votes. He just says, I need endorsement. Right now, we are 2 years to the next election. Kalonzo Musyoka is not coming out as a person who wants to be elected president.
For someone to be in exile until 2026 thereabout, and then surface and say they want this seat, I think that is where people take Kenyans for a ride. We need people to be speaking up now, not later. We need people to offer an alternative voice. You see, the beauty, the disadvantage with the Rigiji is, well, he's speaking. He is the de facto opposition. But with all these things that are hanging on his head, the impeachment and all these, the best he can do is make some king. But who is this king that
Who is the next, yeah.
will be made by Rigiji?
He's the kingmaker.
Yes. Who is this person that, with the consolidated vote from Mount Kenya, they can now say, Twende Pandei.
Maybe
Here we have Kalonzo Musyoka that people are not satisfied with how much he's doing in terms of showing or proving to the country that he can be a match to.
There was a huge war between the city county of Nairobi and Kenya Power. To the extent that they went with a huge truckload of garbage and poured right outside Steamer Plaza at the entrance, the very stenchy one. And then they came with 2 other trucks and packed them there. Then Kenya Power showed them, hata sisi tuko na power, tuko na malori zetu. And they packed to block those trucks from City County from leaving that place. Then City County came and clamped all the Kenya Power vehicles and carried some of them away. Why? Because Kenya Power allegedly is owed 3 billion by the county of Nairobi. And then the county of Nairobi is saying Kenya Power owes us 4.8 billion for rates. Ati wanalipishwa mpaka mwelive mahali stima inapitia. Now, then I had people from Nairobi County speaking, and I thought, why did Kenyans wake up to vote for Sakaja, honestly? How do you endanger the lives of people like that? How do you wake up, a right-thinking human being, and pour garbage outside somebody's door? Are they telling us that we as Kenyans, Kenya Power akikuja kwetu wakikata stima, tunafaa kwenda kumwaga garbage kwa ofisi ya Kenya Power yenye iko karibu? It's a very bad show. Are they telling? So, and then, now they were arguing as city county that the huge portion of that bill is not to City Hall. Because walikatiwa stima City Hall jana. Hawaku wanaweza kucheza solitaire ile wanachezanga kwa computer. They got there to play solitaire. So that was the biggest hurting part about it. But
Na betting.
this 3 billion they were saying, they just go there to bet and play solitaire. They don't offer services. They were saying this 3 billion that is being used, they are saying most of it goes to street lighting. Now this is where I take great exception. Yani Wakenya, kweni akili ilienda wapi? Honestly, we import a lot of electricity from Uganda and Ethiopia, and then the bulk of this electricity that we are importing we give to the counties. What do they do with it? They use it to light our streets. Now stop right there. That is what it means to vote for leaders with common sense. First, it is cheaper to buy solar bulbs. It is cheaper to install them. Sai jua inatuchoma siku hizi hata uwezi enda kwa gari na saa 5 yotaki kuwa kwa barabara saa 5 mchana. All that sunlight is getting to waste. And then we are using imported electricity from Uganda and Ethiopia and wherever, and some stupid generators that are using diesel here to go and light up our streets at night. Because we elected people who do not have the common sense of knowing that solar lighting would have been cheaper and better for this country. Now we are pouring garbage outside people's premises. I want to see someone take responsibility for that.
But
it doesn't matter what happens. That war was useless.
I'm sure you voted for Sakaja on that
Mimi?
day.
No. Let me tell you. If he was the only candidate on the ballot, I would have thrown away my voter's card.
Bongo.
No. Why would I vote for
Would you vote for
Sakaja?
Polycarp?
Well, yes, I voted for Polycarp Igathe, and I am unashamed to say so. Let me tell you, mulimkataa kumpatia.
Alienda wapi sasa?
The job he got, he controls
lucky.
4 times the number of employees at the county of the Nairobi City County, and he controls 5 times the amount of revenue that comes to Nairobi City County. Kwa hivyo mlimunyima hii kazi ya pesa kidogo, now he's controlling a lot more billions and doing better. I've always told Kenyans, if you want to vote for somebody to a position of leadership, ask yourself, if this person was applying for a job at the United Nations, would they get? Would Sakaja get a job at the United Nations with his degrees?
Probably.
No. The answer is no. Those people don't take jokes.
What do you mean?
So the thing is, hii ujinga yote sisi tuliona jana is uncalled for. I have never seen such a law. Now I don't know whether they collected that garbage.
So petty.
Yeah.
And then they blocked water to that premises, and they blocked sewer.
What?